Gary went through everything today, it sounded like. Gary?
Yes, yeah. He's unlikely to play on the trip, but he's really coming along well.
You know on Wiggins yet? He was out there.
Probable.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's Chris Paul been progressing? He's taking some shots out there.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a ways away because of the process of the hand healing, but he's getting a lot of work in. He's trying to get his conditioning up and as best he can without being able to actually play. But yeah, Chris is in good spirits. It's great having him back with the team.
What has he provided, just from the sideline?
Just good, his presence for the whole team is great. He's got good advice for guys coming off the floor. Good support for the whole group. I mean, we love having Chris with us.
Is it just mostly shooting and light work still? I mean,
yeah. And running. I mean, he's running on the court. So.
Steve, you had a few complaints about kind of the way that offense has gotten to the point that it has in the NBA, and I think a few other coaches around the league kind of mirror that. What can be done to, get it to a more manageable point? I don't know if that's the right reference point, but something that seems a little more closer to what it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think we're going to do much about, the style of play. The three-point shot is just so valuable, and teams are smart. Spreading you out, and the way offenses are now. Most teams put at least 4 shooters on the floor, sometimes 5. It's just hard to cover all that ground. So the obvious fix is how we officiate the game, and I think the league has always been really progressive about fixing the game if it sways in one direction too far. My last year in the finals in 2003. That was my last season playing. The games were like 73-68. I mean, it was ugly. And the league did a great job. They loosened up the rules. They created a game that was much more fun to watch. Now the game has evolved so far in the other direction that we need to take a good look at how we interpret all the rules. The fact is we allow traveling in the paint. We give every advantage to the offensive player who's driving into the defensive player. If you try to use an arm bar defensively, the offensive players are smart. They grab it and they draw a foul. So the biggest thing we can do to balance out the game and create a better game is to just fix the rules. Our officials are great. They're really good. They communicate. They work hard. They know the game, but we need to help them by readjusting the rules. And like I said, the league has done that in the past, so I have no doubt they'll do that going forward. And that concludes my lobbying session for today.
Has Gui surprised you? I mean, when he was added to the back of the roster, it kind of seemed, like a guy who'd be buried. Obviously, there's reasons. So, but I mean, has it surprised you? Like he's helped, really?
He has not surprised me. He reminds me a little bit of Juan Toscano-Anderson in that he sprints the floor every single time. He makes the hustle plays that, frankly, 9 other guys don't make on the floor. He just understands where to be, how hard he should sprint. He knows his minutes are going to be limited. So every possession, he goes all out. And he ends up generating all these extra possessions. He had a transition play yesterday where he crashed the glass, tried to get the board, sprinted past everybody, and then challenged a shot at the rim without fouling and forced a miss. It was incredible. It was like an instructional tape, And so we saw that from him in camp. We see the hustle, the feel, the cutting. So he's a guy who can give you a burst of energy and help you win a game like he did last night.
Specifically on the defense defensive end with his, I guess, size and versatility? How can he profile on that end to impact you guys defensively?
Yeah, he can switch. He's just smart. Like when the shot goes up, he's the first guy looking to box out. There's never a hesitation on a cut, on a box out, on a rotation. So players like playing with him because they know he's going to be in the right place, and he just plays with a pure heart, just trying to win. Nothing matters. Just bring energy. And at one point, one of our coaches praised him when he came off the floor, and he said, "I'm just looking for Steph and Clay to set a screen." We're like, yes, that's the deal. They're the two greatest shooters of all time. Like, go set screens for them. But it's amazing how many young players don't feel that and see that and recognize it. But that kind of feel and awareness for the game is one of the reasons he's made it this far.
What do you think about how Brandon has evolved even just in the last few weeks as a passer? I mean, he has no turnovers, I think, last game and maybe game before. What do you think about how he's facilitating things?
Playing great. I mean, the game just makes sense to Brandon. He's a connector. Every lineup we put him with is he connects, and so the ball moves and he attacks at the right time, he cuts at the right time. Biggest thing is he's fearless. Like, he is not afraid out there, but he's aggressive without being reckless, and that's really key. I think early in the season he was a little reckless at times. He still makes some mistakes, maybe not swinging the ball quickly enough. I thought in the first half last night, the ball got stuck with him a couple times because he knows he can make a play. But all in all, he's come so far, so fast. It's remarkable. I mean, halfway through his rookie season, he's playing 38 minutes and finishing games. We're lucky to have him.
You ever played a game here? Not played a game. I guess you wouldn't have played here, but coach, I didn't come here before other than practice.
Been here, yeah. We practiced here with the Spurs when I played. And we've been trying to come here the last few years. It's just such a great venue, historic basketball venue. So I'm excited to get our guys here today for them to see it.
This nice win last night.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Fun to see the young guys out there closing a game.
It really was. I mean, I love Podziemski. I mean, he's just so much fun to watch. I mean, it's almost like a little bit of youthful enthusiasm, a little bit of FU, a little bit of, I kind of know my role, so I got to do this and do that, do this, but if I can have a chance to take it, I'm going to take it, and if you don't block me out, I'm going to get a rebound. I mean, he's just fun to watch play. It's like in hockey, I think they call him pests, and he's just like a pest, man. He keeps coming, doesn't he?
He does. He's a great rebounder. He just he constantly is reading the game, and he's kind of a step ahead of everyone. He's definitely over helping. Like we're trying to get him to just at times just do his job and not try to do everyone else's at the same time. But I'd way rather have it this way than the opposite. Where he doesn't see anything. He sees everything. But he just tries to cover, every rotation, every angle, every lane, and he's always flying around. He's really a fun player to watch.
I think I could make the argument, and it'd kind of be a dumb argument to make because I haven't seen every guard in the NBA. I haven't watched him enough, but of all the games that I've watched, this guy's a rookie, and I think I'd put him in top five in the NBA in terms of rebounding guards. And he's not that big, but he's as tenacious as anybody I've seen out there. I don't know what the numbers suggest as far as his rebounds per possession, per minute, all those stats and how they stack up against other guards, but I would say very, very favorably with the eye. Did the numbers say any different, or have you even looked at those numbers?
I haven't even looked, but one of the reasons we drafted him, though, was that he averaged 8 rebounds last year at Santa Clara. So eight boards a game as a guard, that's insane. But we saw it pretty quickly in camp. I mean, he's just got a nose for the ball. He's just, if you watch on tape, like he's moving before everybody else, like on every shot. He just has a sense of anticipation and has a knack for kind of squeezing by people who might be trying to block him out. And And then he's much more athletic than he gets credit for. He's strong and he's tenacious, like you said, and he's got great balance. But it's amazing watching him rebound.
Yeah, he's more athletic than he gets credit for, a.k.a. he's white.
I wanted you to say it, Tom. I didn't want to.
Well, no, you knew I would say it, so you just laid it out there for me.
Sort of sneaky athletic, boys. I would say he's sneaky hops, too, yeah.
Yeah, sneaky hops. Yeah, sneaky hops. He's white and he can jump.
He's
Sneaky
white,
hops.
yeah.
And Kuminga's really starting to kind of figure it out. Like, it's funny, Steve, it almost worked in inverse order because we'd been saying forever, just run the court. Just rebound,
right.
Play defense. Everything else will fall into place. It's almost like everything kind of started to fall into place, and then he decided, you know what, I can rebound and run the court along with it. Like he had 10 rebounds last night. The way he ran the court last night, especially to start the second half, what I thought was a huge boost for you guys. It was just immediate energy, immediate scoring, and kind of set the tone for the second half. And once he gets up in the air, he's like magic. I mean, he just kind of levitates, and people fall. It seems like almost people come down before he comes down. Like he gets in the air. He's a special athlete, but it seems like he's kind of figuring all that at once. Like, you know what, I can do all these things. I don't have to like pick and choose.
Yeah. I guess it makes sense, because it is year 3, and he came to us, so raw. He only played, I think, 10 G League games in the bubble. Before he, played his first NBA game, and so, I know there's been plenty of frustration from our fans, wanting him to play more, and but there really does have to be a process of learning the game and understanding what wins. And the last couple of years, we've been working with him. He's worked really hard. But, we couldn't get him to run the floor. We couldn't get him to attack the rim. And we'd show him tape, and he had a lot of games where he would just settle for a bunch of threes. And it's like, we know you can make that shot, but, that's kind of what Steph and Clay do. Like, we need you to attack the rim. You're probably the best athlete in the whole league. And I think it's finally clicked, and the last month it's just been he looks like a different guy because he's attacking constantly, and he's cutting behind the play. There was a play late in the game last night where Podziemski cut to the rim, caught it, and then just turned around, hoping that J.K. would be there. And he was, and he was right behind him on a cut, and he dunked it. A month ago he would have been standing at the 3-point line, and so. These made these leaps in a few different areas, and then that has coincided with a lot of our injuries and changing our starting lineup. We're putting him in a lot more actions, handling the ball, and it's all really coming together. So it's really exciting. I'm happy for him because he's a great young guy and he's worked really hard for this.
Well, it's funny because I thought it's a good thing I wasn't sitting there with you when you said, we know you can make the threes, because I would have said, we do know you can make those threes? Because to me, I don't mind the corner threes. Anything above the break, it still gets me to drive. I'm just like, why? Because we've seen what happens when he drives. He drives, he fends him off with the shoulder, creates space, then he jumps up over him. I mean, how many times has this guy gotten fouled on a jump shot? I mean, it happens 2 or 3 times a game where people think they can get to it and they don't because he just keeps going up and he holds the ball so high. And I think what happened ultimately was he had 2 or 3 games where he had a lot of success and he realized, like, damn, like I can do this and I can do it consistently, and this can be like kind of my meal ticket and do this. And you've seen the threes go down, you've seen the good threes come up, and it's just been because he's almost at the point now, Steve, where anything inside like 14 feet, I'm like, that's good. Like that's how money he's been.
Yeah, he's got a nice mid-range jumper, but
really
it's just the process of all this, and like I said, it does kind of make sense because NBA coaches are now we're having to do the job that all the college coaches used to do. Where you're taking a freshman and you're teaching him fundamentals and you're watching him grow and and the old days in college, other than the outliers who were guys who came in and starred as freshmen, was like it took guys a year or two, to crack the starting line. It wasn't until their junior year that they became, the All-American, whatever. So this stuff takes time, and I think half the league now is like 19 or 20, and so there's just a different sort of coaching job that we all have. It's much more development related. The only difference is we don't get any practice time like the colleges do. So you're trying to develop when you have 3 or 4 games in a week and then a couple of walkthroughs. So you just have to be patient, and I just think that 2.5 years into his career, that it's all really coming together for J.K. and it's like I said, it's really exciting for him and for us.
No doubt about it. Let me real quickly ask you, Clay. I thought Clay handled it about as well as he could last night. He wasn't thrilled on the bench. I expect that to happen. It's harder. You've said it. I've been saying it. It's harder for guys that have been to the top of the mountain to kind of see the other side in the descent, because that's not what their career has been for the most part. It's been success. It's been all-star games. It's been the best two-way guard in basketball for maybe a period of 3 to 5 years. He has the rings. I mean, he and now it's like the realization that he's just not that player anymore. And there are going to be nights where he'll have to cede the last 5-6 minutes maybe to somebody else, and he's not used to doing that. And I thought he handled that well last night. You could tell he was hurting. He's got a lot of pride, but he was genuinely happy for the guys that were out there. How do you balance that out as a coach, knowing that you're responsible for the 15? It's not one guy that you're taking care of, but that you're doing what's best for the team, and ultimately those are the decisions you have to make. But you also recognize this is a guy that's won the rings there, and if they have statues, he will get one of them, and he has a lot of pride. And how do you handle that and the balancing act that goes with it?
Well, it helps when you have a 10-year relationship with someone, and you've been through a lot together, and so there's definitely a trust factor that Clay and I have, with each other, and obviously Steph and Draymond as well. But I think coaching is really about the communication that happens every day. Sometimes it's something just minor, sometimes it's something bigger to communicate, but as long as there's an established relationship, then these are the types of conversations you have during the year, and that's how I approach it. And Clay's always very receptive to any thoughts that I have, and I'm always very open to any questions or any thoughts that he has, and I have these conversations with all of our guys all year long. It's just as circumstances change, the conversations have to adapt, and you just kind of go from there.
Got it.
Talking to Warriors head coach Steve Kerr on the UMA guest line. Steve, you have a pick for the Super Bowl? You have a feel?
I got the Niners. But you want to know the score, don't you?
Yeah, I want an actual pick, and then we'll get into some of the props. I want Gatorade color. I want national anthem length. I need all the good stuff.
He wants all the props.
I want all the props. I'll settle for a score though.
I got 24-23, 24-23 Niners, and so yeah. So I apologize to you and Tom and everyone else who thinks they're going to cover.
Yeah, that puts it right on the spread, right on the total. Well done.
That's good. Yeah.
I really like to go out on a limb.
Yeah. I can see you too. Wow. That's impressive. Yeah, I'd like a 1.5 point victory at least. 2 would be preferable. But
24.5 to 23 is good. Yeah.
1.5. I will tell this story because it happened a long time ago, but it's Super Bowl week. Where were we, Steve? Sacramento, weren't we?
Sacramento, yeah.
Sacramento. So we're playing in Orlando together, and we're in Sacramento for the Super Bowl. And back then, the teams didn't have gatherings for people that wanted to go. Hey, we're gonna have a viewing party down in this ballroom. We're gonna go to the rent out this restaurant. It was just, hey, you're on your own. So Steve and I were sitting there in the room, and we're just gonna watch the Super Bowl in the room. I think it was Cowboys-Bills. So we took out the USA Today back when people read papers. And Danny Sheridan had the props, and there was 50 props that he put up there for the Super Bowl. And Steve and I said, okay, let's just bet. We're going to bet $5 a prop, and you get to choose the first. I'll choose the second. You choose the first. I'll choose the second. We'll order a pizza. We'll get like a 12-pack of beer. We'll just sit in here and watch the games. And what we end up? I think somebody. I don't even know who it was, but one of us won or lost like $10 after it was all said and done. I believe, didn't we?
Well, yeah, but what I remember the most was you had the big one, which was like Sheridan had the odds of a Cowboys touchdown at like 20-1. And so that would have been $100.
Oh, defensive touchdown or something like that, or whatever.
Defensive touchdown. Cowboys defensive touchdown, 20-1. And that was the Super Bowl when what was the defense? Leon Lett, was it Leon Lett?
Don Beebe.
Yeah, and you were going crazy as he's racing down the sidelines. You're like, $100, I got $100. And Don Beebe, my personal hero, from then till forever, chased him down and saved me $100 at the 1 yard line. That was amazing.
The other thing I remember too is we're sitting there. So we had all these, we had 50 prop bets. So you get to like the third or fourth quarter where some of these things start coming in, where it's like rushing yards or receiving yards, or receptions, or first downs or penalties or whatever like that. And I remember Steve and I were watching it, and you get to the point where in the game where you're following one wager, and you see it, and you're like, yes! And then you look down at the sheet, you're like, no! Yes! No! It's like everything that happened had about 3 different prop bets that were decided on that, and you would win one, and then you'd lose 2. You'd be like, oh, unbelievable. I can't believe I lost that.
We just like the action, Tom. That's all. We just
like the action. That's all we want is the juice. That's all we want. So you guys in Philly as we speak?
We are. Yeah.
Very good. Well, enjoy the game. What are you guys doing for? You guys will be back for Super Bowl, so you get to watch it. You get to watch it here. Hang out with
we'll
the
be
family
home
in Lulu. You'll be doing the same thing I will. You'll be at Lulu.
That's right.
You're Lulu?
Yeah, we'll be home Thursday night, but we practiced at the Palestra today, which was pretty cool.
Did you really?
Yeah, really fun. So the Penn coach, Steve Donahue, invited us to practice there, and pretty cool because it's one of the great venues in the country for college basketball. So that was a fun day.
Oh, that's pretty cool. We'll have a good rest of the trip. See if we can get a couple wins and come on home. And we always appreciate the conversation, Steve.